Yo, what's up YouTube? Dragothien Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and today we are continuing our Archer overview series, and we are going to be talking about the next commander for your Archer Wheel of Fortune sequence, or what it would have been if Lilith didn't make these changes. But the next commander that we are going to be talking about is Cyrus the Great, and I do think he is a little undervalued, and I think there is some room to explore a little bit more than the Cyruses that we've been seeing in our previous KVKs. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, so we have the founder of the Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great. He is an archer, versatility, and skill damage commander. As with all of our commander overviews, we are going to go over his skills a little bit in depth. I'm going to kind of give you my opinions on what I like or don't like about skills. And then at the end of the video, we are going to give a determination on if this commander is relevant for your Season of Conquest gameplay. So let's check out his first skill. Active skill, the Immortals. Rage requirement is only 1,000. Deals direct damage to the current target up to 1,400 and causes them to take up to 20% increased additional damage for 3 seconds. Very nice skill here. You're going to see a lot of like inner workings with Cyrus, and a lot of his skills don't look flashy at first, but he is kind of like this little bit of like a pseudo debuffer of sorts, and he's really starting to grow on me. We saw JST in the last Osiris League Invitational or Osiris League playoffs. They were utilizing a lot of Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar's, and we just played a team that was utilizing kind of like a very similar strategy to what JST was doing, and using Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar going into your opposing enemy shrine, and it was giving us tons of trouble. I need to do a breakdown and to fully see why that is, but it was doing very good even against the swarm, which I mean, I know Nebu is the primary anti-swarm function there, but they were just really hard to take down, and they were doing a lot of damage to the garrison. So JST was definitely onto something there, and they are one of the top teams in Osiris League. So you have to think that they kind of know what they're doing a little bit when it comes to commander pairings. Next skill, Battle of Thimbra. Passive skill, archer units led by this commander gain up to 50% increased march speed and up to 30% increased attack. Very standard skill. I'm actually surprised that the archer attack isn't at about 40%, which is what we usually see on commanders nowadays. But all in all, pretty good. I'll take it. Next skill, Persian Bow. When troops led by this commander consist of only archers, their normal attacks gain a 10% chance to deal additional damage over time for 3 seconds, additional damage up to 250. You can see how his active skill is synergizing with his third skill, since he is going to be doing a little bit of additional skill damage. While the damage over time is in effect, the target deals up to 40% reduced skill damage. This effect can trigger at most every 5 seconds. So pretty dope skill here. So if you get that 10% chance to proc off during this damage over time for 3 seconds, the target is going to deal 40% less damage. That is pretty nuts. And again, he's kind of like how William is with William's primary skill. Card up in the top if you guys missed my William video, but he has this really nice debuff here, and although it's conditional, 40% skill damage reduction is pretty meaningful, and that is giving him some pretty nice tankiness, and this is probably where a little bit of that extra tankiness comes from in Ark of Osiris play. Because in KVK, you will usually always have someone to swarm down Osiris with, while in Ark, you're not always going to have those swarms available, and your attack is boosted so much in Ark that the swarms just, you melt pretty quickly on a swarm too. So yeah, very good skill. Next skill, the Cyrus Cylinder. Kind of an odd name. It's like a special move in like anime world. And now for my final move, the Cyrus Cylinder. I don't know if he actually talks like that or if Persians do. If I offended anyone, I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. When attacked on the map, troops led by this commander have a 10% chance to deal damage over time in a circular area of effect to up to 3 targets for 3 seconds. Damage factor up to 300. This effect can trigger at most once every 5 seconds. So You have to be on the map. That means open field or rally situation. And then you are going to have a 10% chance to deal. There's just more additional damage that this guy is pumping out. And then I believe Nebuchadnezzar also has a lot of additional damage, like right here. So the synergy behind these guys is really good. So I guess you can kind of see why these guys work so well in Ark of Osiris. It's just still kind of blows my mind that they don't work all that well in KVK. But again, the situations are always are usually a little bit more different. Last skill, King of the World. After using an active skill, archer units led by this commander gain 20% increased attack and 20% increased defense for 3 seconds and gain an extra 50 rage per second. This effect trigger at most every 5 seconds. This is pretty much almost, this is like William's third skill, where you're getting the increased defense plus the 50% rage, or the 50 points of rage without the little bit of extra attack. These guys are, you could, now that I'm like kind of actually analyzing it a little bit more, Lilith got a little bit lazy in the skill designs with these two commanders, I think, because you could see a lot of similarities. They both offer a lot of additional skill damage. They both have a very similar debuff in terms of skill damage taken reduction, or well, Williams is a little bit different wording, but skill damage, the boost from skill damage cannot take effect, which is kind of like the same thing. And then this skill is pretty much what William has too. So a little lazy, Lilith. I finally caught you. I never realized it, but all in all, I think Cyrus is a pretty good commander. I think for archer players, he could be worth the investment. You could probably look to work him at a 5-5-5-1. But I really like this expertise, so I would say that Cyrus is one that would probably need to be maxed at some point. I'm gonna give Cyrus like a 1.5 thumbs for Season of Conquest, just because, again, in KVK rally situations, he's not super relevant. He's definitely utilized in Ark, as we've mentioned before. He is pretty good in the open field. There were a solid amount of really good archer players in 2070. Off the top of my head, I know he's not an archer player, but he was flexing them. Bowser, I believe Fawson, and Nicodemus. They all had pretty solid Cyruses on the field, and whenever I was hitting them, I noticed that they weren't dying all too quickly. And that could be in part to the gear that they had on, of course, but I mean, again, I mean, he just, for being a skill damage commander, he wasn't going down as easily as I thought he was. So I'll give him 1.5, just because he's not super rally relevant in KVK. I think that it knocks him down a little bit. And then also the fact that you kind of have to max him to really get those maximal boosts on stats that you're really looking for. So 1.5 is where we'll leave it. But I do like Cyrus a lot. If I was an archer player, I would probably go ahead and invest into Cyrus. If you're not an archer player, just be careful of how you're investing, because I think you have better avenues that you can explore in terms of archers, like Ramses, like Artemisia, like Tamiris, Nebu, even Gilga, who's going to be in our next video to round out all of the archer commanders. So you do have options, but I really like Cyrus for anyone who is a dedicated archer player. Just my thoughts and opinions on him. So if you guys enjoyed the content, please consider slapping a like on the video and subscribing down below. It's all totally free, helps the channel a lot. Let's get that YouTube algorithm working for the channel. We're on our road to 1K subs. I'm determined to get there. Maybe we'll actually set like a little bit of a goal. 1K by the end of the year, maybe a little bit of stretch, but let's do it. Help support the channel. I appreciate you guys. Much love always. And with that, I'm out. Everyone enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good one. Peace.